Yes. So my name is Marit Wicksell, and I'm an energy and sustainability specialist at NCC at the division called Building Sweden. I'm actually also an alumni from Uppsala University, where I studied the master's program in energy systems engineering, which I finished in 2015. So after that, I've been working as an energy consultant for 5 years, and now I've been in NCC for about 1 year. So I've actually also made the energy simulations for this building in my last job. And NCC built this house, so I have a lot of connections to this building and to Uppsala University. So a little bit about NCC. It's one of the largest construction companies in the Nordic countries. So we operate in Sweden, Norway, Denmark, and Finland. And Sweden is the largest market with about 60% of the sales. So I will tell you a little bit what I do as an energy specialist at NCC, and then I will go on to the competence needs that we see now and in the future. So the main thing we do is energy simulations in either eyes, like I did for this building. So we build a 3D model for the building, as the one you can see in the picture. And then we simulate the building over 1 year, and then we get the result of the energy consumptions for the building. So we compare this result with the regulations and the requirements in the project, which could be both the legal requirements, but also if the customer has a higher ambition regarding energy consumption. And in that case, we have to work a lot with energy optimization as well to find the most cost-effective solutions for the project. And that means that we have to cooperate a lot with the architect, the HVAC consultant who designs the ventilation and heating system, and also the constructor. And then we also do indoor climate simulations in DICE, which includes daylight, thermal comfort, and solar heat gain. And that is also a lot of cooperation with the architect in an early stage, so that we make sure that the floor plan and the window setting and so on has a good opportunity for a good indoor climate. I also have colleagues that works a lot with energy monitoring, since we follow up the energy performance in the real building afterwards and compare this with the simulated performance that we did in the design stage. So then we compare it month for month and adjust something if it doesn't comply. I also have colleagues that work a lot with research and development. We take part in different R&D projects where we search for external financing to learn more about energy and how we do better energy simulations. So about the competence needs, first of all, the whole building industry uses EDICE as a simulation program for energy. So if you should learn a program, that's the one. I didn't learn it at the university, but I learned it at my first job. But I have some colleagues that had learned it already at the university, so they have had a little benefit from that. We also work a lot with sustainability, which relates to energy in many ways. For example, the certification systems for buildings, like Miljöbyggnad, Svanen, and BREEAM, which are the most common ones. Know that this building is certified with Miljöbyggnad and the level silver. So we have to know about these certifications because it affects both the energy performance and the requirements, both for energy and the indoor climate. So we also discuss a lot about LCA in the building industry today. In Sweden, there is a new law since 2022 that all new production projects should do a climate declaration. That means we have to calculate the climate impact of the building. And right now there is no level that you should reach, but that will come in the future. So there will be more and more focus on climate impact. So that also affects the energy, since we can't say that we should have 1 meter insulation in the walls, because that's not a good climate thing. So we have to understand both aspects. So in order to make good energy simulations, we also have to understand the building installations, which means the ventilation and the heating systems and so on. So that's also something we have to have an understanding of. And the buildings are getting more and more advanced, since we are trying to reach lower and lower energy performance. So we have to understand the building control system more in the future. We also have solar energy in a lot of our projects, since that's required almost to reach the requirements. And we get more and more questions about batteries and battery storage of the solar energy. So we have to learn about how to use that in the buildings. I haven't taken part in any project that actually have used it, but we get questions about that, but it feels like we need more competence about it before we are ready to use it. So that's all I had for now, for these few minutes. So if you have any questions.
Thanks a lot, and it's always extra nice to have the alumni from the university back. So great. Are there any questions from the audience? I was wondering if you recognize yourself in what was described by Vattenfall with this extreme need for recruitment, or is it a little bit more business as usual for the building sector in terms of how many people you need?
I think it's a little bit more business as usual, but it's quite hard to recruit good competence, I think. So we have to have more.
Yeah, and you described the change in I mean, what technologies are coming into the buildings and what's needed there.
Yes.
Okay. Again, you can speak more after the session, but thanks again a lot, Marit.